I mean, it depends on who you ask, though. If you were asking Bitcoin investors 2 weeks ago when we were swimming around 75K, what was going to happen, I think majority would have said it's the end of times and we are finished with this cycle. And just in a mere 2 weeks, the day after the Fed didn't do anything, all of a sudden the entire crypto market started to take off. What did we miss from the Fed meeting yesterday that caused this move, or is it just we were waiting for the event to come by?
I don't think I don't think Bitcoin trades that tightly with the Fed. Like, I actually think the Chinese interest rate cut
Hmm.
has, if you want to get into real minutia, okay, like having a macro thing impact the price of Bitcoin on a day-to-day basis, to me, that kicked off this little pop here. And the Fed didn't say anything or do anything. And the 2-year note's still at 379. And Scott Bessent last week said, look, the 2-year note is telling the Fed what it should be doing. That's the
Hmm.
Treasury Secretary.
Yeah.
So, in a very subtle way, saying 4.25 interest rates are wrong.
Yeah, you said that in one of your latest tweets where you were expecting to basically see a drop of 250 bips from here from the Fed.
No, what I said was the Chinese rates went down to 1.3. I
Hmm.
said, imagine if the current rates in the US drop down to the Chinese rate. Um, and maybe China's slowing more, it's more severe, but these are the lowest interest rates for China ever, right? So I just said, imagine if we were just down at 1.3, where Bitcoin would be. For Chinese people, the interest rate is 1.3. Therefore, is very supportive of Bitcoin and gold.
I mean, you mentioned gold and Bitcoin going into a pendulum in some way, and I think there's like two groups that basically are opposite of each other. One group is saying Bitcoin and gold are the same category. So Bitcoin is digital gold, which you are often referencing to as well. But there's also a group saying, no, if gold is going to go down, that's actually going to be a trigger where the entire crypto asset class goes up because people tend to move onto the risk curve. You mentioned that Bitcoin and gold are, say, pendulum were going up in the previous period. What do you expect from that in the coming few years? Are we still going to see both assets turning upwards, or is gold a
Yeah.
little bit done at this point?
Yeah. I think, look, gold is generally considered a perfect hedge for the old world. So if you have a portfolio of bonds and stocks and commodities and real estate and art and whatever it is, gold has always been a hedge against, geopolitical risk. It's when interest rates go down, the economy softens, there's more liquidity. It's good for gold. When the dollar goes down, it's good for gold. There are many reasons. And gold, acts as, it has its place in that old world portfolio. Okay.
Mhm.
Bitcoin um, responds to many of those same characteristics, but to me is a hedge against everything in the old fiat world, right? Because Bitcoin's number 21 million is limited, and everything in the fiat world has fiat as the denominator. So you're losing your purchasing power over time in all your assets in the old world. So, as an example, if you look at the last 10, 12 years, the NASDAQ, which people generally think has done well, is down 99% against Bitcoin.
Mhm.
99%. You have lost tremendous purchasing power. It's not that you haven't, done well being long the NASDAQ. You've done well because it's based in dollars. However, in Bitcoin terms, you've gotten annihilated. And so I think about Bitcoin, uh, as external to that system. I think gold is the best hedge for the old world. And gold is also very, very sensitive to changing shifts in liquidity, like when monetary and fiscal policy are doing certain things. And so, or when the dollar is doing something. So it's that overlap with Bitcoin as to why they are trading together now. Because you have fiscal tightening in the US with Doge, you know, removing whole departments, cutting back on spending. And then you have the tariffs, which are creating uncertainty. Consumers are not really sure, you know, prices potentially might go higher. They're not sure, but it's definitely slowing down demand. And then normally, and I think we're going to see this now, you have monetary policy act as an offset to that fiscal tightening.
And I mean, if you look at it from that standpoint, I think gold is up like, what is it, 25% year to date. And last year it did another 30%, which is very unusual in terms of regular return for that typical asset class. While on the other hand, Bitcoin is just up 10% or so. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it be like,
I just don't think you can look at it in these shorter time frames. 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. I mean, unfortunately, uh, in the last 10, 12 years, and I know because I'm a gold holder, I mean, gold has gone down tremendously against Bitcoin, against ETH, against Solana, against every single asset, even assets that people don't like within, the crypto world, like Ripple. I mean, XRP is up, not, gold is down 99% against XRP in the last 10 years. I mean, so gold has not maintained its purchasing power against the digital asset world.
so if you, I mean, for sure, yeah, XRP is a is not everyone's favorite, I would say. But it has done well in terms of return. But then Bitcoin, when it first got at the 100K barrier, it was solely driven by the fact that Trump got into the office. Then a lot of people became angry that the Bitcoin strategic reserve didn't come around within the first week of him being into the office. And then we basically had a cascade of everything in crypto just crashing down past quarter. Well, today it starts to look like the risk on assets in crypto are outperforming Bitcoin. Is this potentially a shift that is taking place where people feel like, hey, maybe we need to look outside of Bitcoin and start investigating protocols that might make sense in the broader scope of things?
Well, look, again, I think having a short-term view on this stuff is the fastest way to bankruptcy. This is a very, very difficult market to understand and trade. And when I mean market, I mean like the entire digital asset ecosystem, all the various different projects and companies that are in the space. So, look, I think over the next 10 years, Bitcoin can get to a million. So it can go up 10 times. There are many other cryptocurrencies and venture projects that will go up more than 10 times over the next 10 years. Now, whether somebody decides that they want to investigate those and then that's up to them. But look, Bitcoin and then maybe Solana and ETH as well are the core assets of the space. And Bitcoin is even alone in this regard because of the fact that the security of the Bitcoin network is so intense and that the proof of work algorithm is so tightly fitting. It makes it, the most secure, scarce, decentralized asset, in the history of the world. So that's something special. Um, but it's moved up a lot already. Can it go up another 10 times in 10 years? Yeah. But for many people who are like 26 years old and they're like DeFi degens, that's not enough. So I'm not really concerned about that. Like, I'm not really interested in, my funds don't really focus on what is going to be the absolute best performer. We want to have a broad exposure to the digital asset ecosystem, digital asset economy, that over a 10-year period is going to drive the results of the funds. And hopefully over 10 years, we can make a 5 to 10x return. I don't need to outperform Bitcoin or I mean, it doesn't matter. My focus is over 10 years, invest in the growth stage companies, the larger companies already making 40, $50 million in revenue, investing in them to make a 5 to 10x, and to have the structural changes in this world driving those returns. And of course, they do that with a lot less volatility. Bitcoin is great, but Bitcoin is going to have bear phases that where it's going to go down 60 to 80%. And the funds that I invest in our portfolios don't have that same volatility characteristic. They were, my funds weren't down more than 10 to 15% from the absolute peak in 21. Now we're going to underperform in a bull market, but we dramatically outperform in bear markets because I have a 10-year holding period. And my thought is, I just want to be stuck in. I don't want to get blown out during these bear phases. The volatility is very real here.
OKX is celebrating their 1 year anniversary in the Netherlands, and you can earn up to €100 in Bitcoin by just joining in. From June the 3rd to June the 17th, OKX is running a special 2-week campaign where both new and existing Dutch users can get rewarded in Bitcoin for completing simple tasks. New users can sign up through my personal link in the description below, buy at least €100 in crypto within 14 days of signing up, and you'll get a €20 bonus in Bitcoin, plus more for any completed task. Are you already on OKX? Don't worry, you can still earn up to €80 in Bitcoin by completing tasks like deposits, trading, and referring friends. Head to the OKX campaign page through the link in the description, register and start earning. But be quick, because the campaign ends on June the 17th or when the prize pool €15,000 runs out. Start stacking sats, link below, let's go.